Joining us now to make sense of all of it, my friend Charles Payne. He's the host of Making Money with Charles Payne, weekdays 2 to 3 Eastern on Fox Business, and he joins us now. Charles, so good to talk with you, my friend. Make some sense out of all this for us. What do you expect so what's going to happen if, just say, the worst comes to pass and all this insanity passes, all this big spending? How is this? I mean, what's this going to do this? Accelerates inflation more, right?
It does. That's the really crazy thing, right? One of the big pieces to this inflation puzzle is all the trillions of dollars in free money that was sloshed around in this country. Obviously, a year ago, or last April, May, June, we shut down the economy completely. We never done anything like that. We told people you can't go to work, you cannot earn a living. Our government did this, so it was sort of reasonable, obviously, that we would spring into action. In fact, it ended up being because of that swiftness, the swift actions from the White House. Also, listen, it was bipartisan. Yeah. We ended up with a recession that was just a couple of months long. This whole V-shaped recovery that we debated last year all the time, it really did exist. We came into this year on fire, gangbusters. We did not need another $1.9 trillion. We do not need another $3.5 trillion. All of this free money means that someone who's working really hard, they get up every morning, early in the morning, put on their boots, try not to wake a spouse or whatever it is. They're competing. They're going to the supermarket and they're competing against someone who didn't wake up, didn't have to wake up. The amount of money that went out and the amount of abuse of these programs like the PPP, I tell you, Dana, wait for it. I really feel like taking a 6-month sabbatical from Fox Business just to work on it, on a documentary on that alone. That has also been like, we're talking tens, maybe hundreds of billions of dollars. All of this just stolen money, free money. It drives prices up. Then, of course, you layer that on top of the fact that President Biden declared war on fossil fuels. So what happens with any sort of thing, and particularly a commodity, the less of it you have, and the more demand you have, the higher the price goes. So instantaneously, last November, oil went through the roof. Gasoline prices are through the roof. It's just a never-ending saga. And now they want to really throw gasoline on this whole thing. It's already a crazy fire of craziness. They need to hit the pause button, pull it back a little bit, take a real calm look. But let's be honest about what this really is, though. We talk about it as an economic topic, but it really isn't an economic topic per se. It's a topic about what America should be and look like. And essentially, the people behind this who believe in this sort of Build Back Better and the 3.5, which is really $5.5 trillion in spending, they believe that in some way America has peaked, that our greatness is gone. They're trying to divvy up the spoils. When President Biden says that this bill costs nothing, it does cost something. It's $5.5 trillion just you're handing out.
Yeah.
But essentially what he wants to say and what he won't come out and say directly is, no, we're going to confiscate wealth from individuals and corporations and redistribute it. So we're going to handicap those businesses and those individuals from being able to grow their businesses more. But everyone's going to be happy because we'll all have some cash and we'll live happily ever after. And it's a fairy tale. And it really smacks of a lack of respect and confidence in the American public.
Yeah, we're talking with our friend Charles Payne, who hosts Making Money with Charles Payne on Fox Business, breaking all this down for us. And you're stealing. You have to steal from something else in order to satisfy this bill. The way that I understood it, Charles, and I know that this has been a topic, I think, really a top topic, in especially with economic policy for the past couple of decades. This idea that we're just going to tax the rich, and by taxing the rich, we'll be able to pay for everything that we want. But from what I understand, reading from the tax package that was pushed to House Ways and Means Committee, they can leverage whatever taxes they want to on people, but that's not even going to come close to even satisfying a third of the bill for this actually in reality $5 trillion spending.
Right. I mean, it's just if you were to confiscate all the money from the millionaires, billionaires, and of course Biden brought up the trillionaires, you couldn't pay for this, right? And people have picked up on things like the IRS being able to flag transactions in anybody's account for $600. Yeah. I mean, the writing is on the wall. They're gonna raise like $60 billion taxing vaping and cigarettes. Everyone's going to feel the tax. You're going to feel it directly. You're going to feel it indirectly from the high cost, or Maybe you'll lose your job. Something is going to happen to every single person in this country, and it's going to be negative. It's going to hurt. It's going to be painful, and it's going to be counter what we really are, the ethos of who we are as a nation.
Yeah, very much so. Talking with Charles Payne. What I noticed too, you were tweeting about James Bond. I love the James Bond movies. You were tweeting about James
So
Bond because a lot of people have been saying, "Oh my gosh, that AMC stock. Everybody's watching AMC stock." And is it actually really set to just launch? Is it going to explode? What would you think? What's the major contributor to that?
Well, here's the thing. It all boils down to management more than anything else, Dana. The CEO is going to have to make this thing work. I have been in this market so long, I have seen so many companies that Wall Street said were dead, that will never come back. In fact, if you would have bought Uggs back in April of last year, you'd be up 1,300%. Wall Street said it was dead, it would never come back. Wall Street said Best Buy was dead, would never come back. I mean, there are literally dozens and dozens of these companies. The most important factor, as far as the people who have invested in them, really believe in it, and say they're going to be diamond hands, I always remind them, diamonds don't just appear overnight, right? It's a long process with a lot of stress, a lot of it's a process, and it's a heartening process. So people who believe in it, it's fine. But understand that ultimately it's got to come down to the CEO executing a game plan. Now, I do believe people are going to go back to the movies. Obviously, we know streaming is here to stay. It's obviously taken a big chunk out of movies, but I still think enough people will go to the movies as a viable business model. And then I think the CEO, again, has to be able to add different elements to that to take the stock higher. It's really interesting because the shorts are enjoying a great week this week for them. Today, the worst performer in the market is Bed Bath & Beyond.
Wow.
This is a stock that's been all over, huh?
Yeah, wow. Bed Bath & Beyond, yeah. That's crazy that everybody needs those items. Why are they suffering?
Well, it's another company that lost its way.
Yeah.
I remember my wife used to love Bed Bath & Beyond. I would go with her. Then I went about a year ago. It was horrible. The experience was horrible. The aisles were too small. It was unorganized. It was in disarray. Management. It was really awful, awful, awful. And that's one of the reasons the stock was falling completely apart. And most of these items were easy to order online. But here's the thing. They got new management. They started to say, we're going to do the right thing. And investors took this stock. I remember I was in it last year. We sent out a sell signal to take profits on January 25th at 40. It went above 50. I felt a little dumb. Like, damn, I got a little bit too soon. And all of a sudden, Wall Street started saying to buy this stock, right? But today it's $16, and now I'm feeling like Albert Einstein. But listen, same thing with brick and mortar, though. Amazon's going to open up a bunch of department stores. Why? Because it's not going to go completely away.
Right.
And those companies with the right business models will do extraordinarily well.
There's something about the tangible quality of being able, that aspect of going into a store and being able to see something. And there's certain things that people just will not buy. They will not pay the amount for. They will not buy sight unseen. I mean, at least in person. So there's absolutely something to that. Last quick question for you. Talking with our friend Charles Payne. You can obviously watch him on Fox Business, Making Money with Charles Payne. So I know that there's been a lot of discussion about this is going to kick into Friday. And I was reading something about this. Actually, I was reading something about this week. Federal Reserve, the board announcing individual capital requirements for large banks. It kicks in this week. Why? Why is this a requirement?
This is really this is one of these things that came out of the financial crisis, 2009, and sort of like the banks took too much risk, and when what hit the fan, they weren't prepared, so they had to be bailed out. So the idea is, well, if we make them eat their own home cooking and make them hold on to a bunch of money, if anything goes wrong, we don't have to bail them out. But it's a dumb way of thinking because we want banks to lend out as much money as possible. What they should be doing is just make sure they don't create these crappy products and sell them and foist them upon unsuspecting public. You don't need crazy capital requirements. Hey, who wants a bank is supposed to lend money?
Right. Yeah.
That's what they do. In fact, on their balance sheet, the money they hold is a liability. It's not an asset.
Right.
Lend the money out. When they lend it out, that's when it becomes an asset.
Right.
So let the banks lend the money. And by the way, you're smart. The people at the SEC are smart. The people in all these agencies, they know the deal. When they start selling these crappy products and lie to the public, then you step in. You don't let it become a gigantic cloud that blows up and and tilts our entire economy. So, I just think that's one of these sort of things. You check the box. The Elizabeth Warren box, hey, we're going to get tough with these banks.
Right.
Well, it's just going to all it's going to do is result in fewer loans being made.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy times. And I feel like we're all just we're waiting to exhale a bit here, just waiting to see what happens in D.C., waiting to see how.
We need it, don't we?
Oh, my gosh. I tell you what. Charles Payne, we're grateful for you, my friend. Weekdays, 2 to 3 Eastern on Fox Business, Making Money with Charles Payne. Charles, always a pleasure. My friend, thank you so much for bringing sense into this. Take care.
See you.
Mm-hmm.